Gaming has been part of my life since I was a child. My earliest memories go back to the era when Atari clones were popular in Brazil. I remember having one at home, playing with my mom and older brother, and having an amazing time. Now, if you are a younger gamer in your 20s watching this video, you might wonder, how could we have fun with such simple games that lack advanced graphics? That's exactly what I want to discuss today. How important are graphics when it comes to enjoying a game? To explore this topic, I'll use Pokémon Legends Z-A as an example and share my thoughts on the controversy surrounding its visuals. Welcome to Games in Brazil, and let's get started. When Pokémon Legends Z-A was revealed during Pokémon Presents, a friend of mine immediately criticized the graphics, saying they looked outdated with textures reminiscent of the Nintendo 64 era. Initially, I didn't fully agree with him, but after seeing multiple videos pointing out the same concerns, I decided to rewatch the trailer. That's when I started to understand where these complaints were coming from. Character models and Pokemon designs look decent. Nothing groundbreaking, but not outright bad either. However, the environment tells a different story. If you look at the details like the grass in the city, or the sand in the scenes with the sundial, they appear low resolution, almost like something straight out of a Nintendo 64 game. This is similar to the backlash Pokemon Sword and Shield received, when people pointed out that the trees in the wild area looked as if they had been taken directly from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. But here's my question: do underwhelming graphics really make a game less enjoyable? Having grown up during the early days of gaming made me more tolerant of graphical limitations. Even when we transitioned to the PlayStation 1 era with games like Final Fantasy VIII, where CGI cutscenes were a major spectacle, I still appreciated the core gameplay just as much. The industry has always pushed for visual advancements with each console generation, but do modern gamers place too much emphasis on graphics? I've noticed that players who grew up in the PlayStation 2 era and beyond tend to have higher graphical expectations. I remember seeing someone online complain about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's graphics, which honestly shocked me. To me, the jump from classic Mario Kart games to Mario Kart 8 was incredible. This also ties into the perception of indie games. Some people avoid them purely because they lack realistic graphics, while others, like me, appreciate pixel art as a nostalgic and stylistic choice. Games like Shovel Knight and Axiom Verge prove that great gameplay matters more than cutting edge visuals. Now, going back to Pokémon Legends Z-A, the criticism made me reflect on whether this issue is truly about graphics, or if it's actually about expectations. When fans build up high hopes, any disappointment hits even harder. When the Nintendo Switch arrived, Pokemon fans were naturally excited to see how the franchise would evolve on a home console. Then in 2019, Pokemon Sword and Shield arrived. Not a full open world experience, but a step in that direction with the wild area. Despite graphical concerns, especially the infamous N64 style trees, I personally enjoyed the game. However, many others were frustrated with its performance issues and lack of content. Fast forward to 2022, and we got Pokémon Legends Arceus. The reveal trailer left the fans amazed, and while the game had its own graphical and performance shortcomings, it was generally well received. This raised expectations for what Game Freak would deliver next. And then later in 2022, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet launched. The backlash was intense, with many fans criticizing its technical problems. As a result, Game Freak acknowledged that they needed more development time between mainline games. So, when Pokemon Legends Z-A was announced in early 2024, many fans hoped that Game Freak had finally addressed their concerns. But when the 2025 trailer dropped, those expectations came crashing down. Fans were met with what appeared to be the same outdated graphical style, with raw textures and unpolished environments. Honestly, I don't think fans are wrong to be upset. In the past, when Pokemon games were designed for handheld consoles, Game Freak always pushed the hardware to its limits, delivering visual impressive and engaging experiences. Pokemon X and Y were a huge leap from the DS era, and Sun and Moon refined that formula even further. In my opinion, that was the franchise's graphical peak. With the Switch, it's fair for fans to expect a level of polish that matches modern gaming standards. No one is asking for Pokemon to have Final Fantasy 16 level graphics, but we've seen what the Switch is capable of. Games like The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Xenoblade Chronicles X show that even with weaker hardware, developers can create visual stunning experiences. At this point, Game Freak desperately needs to upgrade their game engine. Pokemon is one of the highest grossing franchises in the world. It deserves a level of graphical quality that reflects that success.